Hello, my name is Paul Stebbings. I am the director of TNT Theatre Britain and the American drama group Europe. For the past 20 years, we've been touring Shakespeare's major works around the world, and I've directed these plays not only in English but in German, Mandarin and Spanish. What is it that makes these plays so uniquely popular? What are the special qualities that we can find within them? For example, we performed Hamlet in the great theatre in central Tehran. The seats are all full and we're about to start, and the house manager races up to me and says, no, the audience are not here yet. I said, but the seats are full. He said, one moment. And the aisles and staircases filled with people who wanted to stand for 3 hours to watch Hamlet. That same production toured to Kuwait a few weeks later and was invited to the American Army base shortly before the GIs entered Iraq. And they found the same play deeply moving. But these two audiences had nothing in common. They shared no values, no religion. They were antagonistic to each other had they met. But Hamlet united them. We have found the same in remote places, such as a town in southern Costa Rica surrounded by the rainforest, where 300 to 400 people turned up to watch Julius Caesar in an evangelical hall. Something touched these people. I would like to try and understand what that is without giving a simple answer. Simplification is a major problem when dealing with Shakespeare, who is both deeply complex and wonderfully accessible. The single line, the linear interpretation of Shakespeare, is a major problem and a temptation for directors, academics, students and actors. Let me give an example from someone else's production, which I confess, now criticise. It's a production of The Tempest, in which Prospero, Caliban and Ariel all wear white suits, as if they are all manifestations of a single character. But this is a straitjacket. It prevents us from experiencing the multiple complexity of the play. Caliban is a earth spirit, Ariel is an air spirit, and Prospero is a man of magical powers, but a human. They are different, and they inhabit different moral universes as well, and they play out this complex interchange inside a very exciting story. If we lump them together, they cannot move, and the audience were as irritated as I was. Let us go now to an academic approach to one of the great thinkers, Freud, and his disciple Jones's Oedipal interpretation of Hamlet. Hamlet must surely love his mother Gertrude and want to kill his father Claudius. But the problem is, Hamlet doesn't love his mother or want to have sex with his mother because he finds her sexuality deeply repulsive. And Claudius is not his father. He might want to be called his father, but he's not his father. That's part of the complexity. And actors can make the same mistake as well. One of the greatest actors, of course, is Laurence Olivier, and I'm a fan of his work. But his film of Hamlet does not rank amongst his greatest achievements. It begins with his sonorous voice declaiming, "Hamlet is the tragedy of a man who cannot make up his mind." Well, it's not true, is it? It's much more difficult than that. Hamlet searches for a yardstick by which to judge his own actions. That's very different from not being able to make up your mind. It's much more complex and more interesting. So, simplification destroys the richness, which is the essence of Shakespeare. So how are we going to find a methodology, a way of understanding Shakespeare, which does not simplify? I suggest we could take a lesson from mathematics, hardly my forte as an artist. But within maths, there's a very interesting concept, which is the Venn diagram, which is a series of circles. Let's take a simple example. In this circle here, we have animals that can fly. In this circle here, we have animals with 2 legs. Push the 2 circles together and they somewhat overlap. And in the intersection of these 2 circles, you will find animals that fly that have 2 legs, birds. Whereas penguins, kangaroos will be outside of this. Now let's apply this to Shakespeare. Let's take a circle here. This circle here is characters from Italy, including Rome. This circle here is characters who commit suicide in Shakespeare's plays. And then let's add a third circle above it here, which is women characters in Shakespeare. If we move the 2 circles together, we get Italians who commit suicide in Shakespeare's plays. There's a lot of those. And then we bring the 3rd circle down and we get female characters from Italy who commit suicide in the plays of Shakespeare. And we have Portia and Juliet, for example, in that. We can then analyse why those 2 characters commit suicide, what Shakespeare is aiming at by looking at the contents of those 3 circles. Circle 1, why does Shakespeare set so many of his plays in Italy or Rome? Circle 2, why does so many characters in Shakespeare commit suicide? What does it mean? Circle 3, why does Shakespeare create so many, and how does he create so many profound and intelligent female characters? We can look at those 3 subjects and then move them together, and we will have a greater understanding of the complexity, 3-dimensionality of Portia and Juliet. This is the methodology I want to apply to other plays of Shakespeare. And the first one I want to examine in the next of these talks is Hamlet, because Hamlet is the centre of Shakespeare's work. The earlier plays build towards it, the later plays develop out of it. And if we can understand Hamlet, we can understand the core of Shakespeare, and also possibly why human consciousness was changed forever by that play. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next talk, which will be on the Dane. Thank you.